Welcome to Small Arm Solutions. Today we got something pretty interesting. We have an evolution of the CZ Scorpion, carbine or pistol, or SBR. In this case, we have an SBR Evo 3, and we have a carbine version of the 3 Plus. The 3 Plus is the newest version. We have some changes that have been made, 3 major changes that we're going to take a look at. But we'll take a look at the CZ Scorpion as it originally was. This particular one here is an SBR. It's an original CZ Scorpion Evo 3. Some of the main differences we're going to see between these two of these has a lot to do with the magazine. The original Evo 3 magazine was front dropped like so. When it was not like that of the M16, which is one of the things that people want to do, is more of the button style, which is one of the major changes. The pistol grip on the 3 is certainly more comfortable than the original. The original one was a little bit wide, a little bit more bulky. This one actually fits your hand quite perfectly. Now, the magazine was the big change. It's the magazine and the magazine release. The original one, the magazine release, is in the front. You drop, the magazine will drop out. The newer version, the 3 Plus, is more like that of an M16, where you have a button and it will drop free. You also have an ambidextrous on the side as well. The next thing is the magazines themselves. The magazines are not compatible. Now, if you have a Evo 3 Plus magazine, it will fit in the original weapon. However, the new one will not. And the reason being is there's a little notch that's cut right here. And this little notch right here is what works with the magazine catch of the Evo 3 Plus. So if you have a 3 Plus, you cannot use the older magazines. However, if you do have a standard Evo 3, you will be able to use both versions of the magazine. So unfortunately, we're not compatible. That would have been something nice to have, but you wouldn't be able to swap out the different type of a magazine release with the button versus the lever without changing the magazine. So keep that in mind. If you have a 3, you can use both magazines. If you have a 3 Plus, you can only use the one magazine. Showing as a point of comparison just the differences between them. Mechanically, they are identical. 1913 rails are identical. The rails are identical. Again, this being a shorter one, you don't have the space you do on the carbine versus the SBR. This one here's got 1913 rails on it. This one here is M-lock, so that's a little bit different on it as well. Both of them have the side folding stock. Now again, this comes in a pistol version as well as a carbine. The pistol version will not have the stock on it. You will also be able to get an SBR version of it, which will have a side folding stock. But again, this would be NFA compliant, so it would be 16 inches. This is a FOSS suppressor on here as well. This is not a real suppressor. The stock, you have a button on the left hand side. It pushes, goes right in, open it up. You also have the ability to pull on a lever, and you can adjust that even further. This does come with these rear sights as well. To lock the bolt to the rear, you can do it 2 ways. One, you can pull backward on the cocking handle, and you can lift up like that of an MP5. To release, you can just hit the slap like you would normally with an MP5. Or you can pull back and lift upward on your bolt catch. This is ambidextrous on both right and left side. Push upward, and there you have it. Insert your magazine, drop. Now, when it fires this last shot, it will lock back on its last shot. So again, you can drop your magazine out, put your new magazine in, hit your release, and you're ready to go again. So it's very quick to operate. The original Evo 3 did also have a bolt release, but it was not ambidextrous. It was only on the one side. So again, it makes it a little bit better for lefties being able to have it on both directions. So you have a bolt release on both sides, you have a magazine release on both sides, and you have an ambidextrous safety. So again, your magazine, very nice sights to come with it. So to show you how this thing works, we're going to take it apart and see how it looks. Okay, for this assembly, we remove the magazine. We're going to make sure it's empty, and we're going to lock the bolt to the rear. And we're going to take our pin punch. We're going to push this takedown pin in until it comes to the detent. Now we're going to rotate upside down, and we're going to pull downward on the trigger compartment. That will pull that out to the rear. Now to remove the bolt, a little bit more tricky, but you want to have just so you can get your finger in there. You're going to pull the bolt back and lift out, and there you have it. Again, this is a direct blowback. So basically, the direct blowback means you have the mass of the bolt and the mass of the recoil spring, which is what holds the bolt closed until the pressure is dropped so it can safely extract and eject. Now, this mechanism it's an old mechanism, being a blowback. It works. It's tried. It's true. You see it used on pretty much most 9mm SMGs that are out there. You're starting to see a little bit of a difference now. You're starting to see a little bit more of locking breech mechanisms, such as the SIG MCX, which gives you a benefit. Of course, we had the MP5, which used a roller delayed. Now, the benefits are with the locking mechanism, it's lighter. For instance, if you look at an MPX, you're going to have a much lighter bolt carrier, overall lighter weight gun because it's using gas to unlock breech. Where this, again, it's all relying on weight and springs. So this is tried and true. It's heavier. This gives you a little bit more recoil than the newer type systems. But you want to look at something that's tried and true, and it will always work for you. You will never go wrong with a blowback. Now, the way CZ has done this, it's beautiful. They do a wonderful job on the way they build it. They also think of the lowest common denominator. You're not going to be taking apart this bolt any further than it is right now for normal routine maintenance. There's a reason for that. Is a lot of conscripts, a lot of non-professional soldiers. You give them a weapon where you can take it apart like that, they're more apt to lose parts, and you lose a part in the field, your weapon's no longer useful. So basically, they leave up that kind of maintenance to armorers who actually know what they're doing. They're going to be taking, drift punches. They're going to be popping these pins out. They'll be cleaning it, replacing them with new parts, and sending them back into the field. So it's more of a difference in perspective. From a commercial perspective, we like to be able to take things apart to clean. But from a military perspective, again, depending on the education levels and the training levels of your military, you want to make it so they don't have the opportunity to lose parts or mix parts up. So that could be the whole concept behind this. Now, the Czech Army has always done that. If you go back to the 805, the brand 805, their first 5.56 rifle, you couldn't take apart that bolt carrier group at all. It was you couldn't take the firing pin out, you couldn't take the cam pin out. Everything stayed as an assembly. When the Brand 2 came along, they had they learned some lessons from that. They made it so you could take it apart much further, so you could maintain, because those rifles will get a lot dirtier than these submachine guns will. The Evo, however, the Scorpion, again, this Scorpion is in military use in the Czech Army as well as other places as well. This is not just a commercial weapon. This is actually a military-grade weapon. They have kept it to the point where it's simple, stupid, so inadvertently not going to make this carbine or this submachine gun not work. So reassembly, you insert the back into the receiver. You're going to pull rearward. Again, you're going to hear it snap into place. You're going to want to grab it by the latch so you don't snap your finger in there. You're going to lock it to the rear. Again, the key is disassembly and reassembly. That's locked to the rear. Going to insert the trigger module in, lock it into place, forward, and there you have it. I think we're going to take this to the range. We're going to see how it shoots. All right. Well, reliability was stellar. That's what I was expecting out of it. This thing shot at 25 yards, probably about a 2-inch group. Unfortunately, that target was lost, so unfortunately I had that to show you, but it was about 2 inches. Most of all of it was shot on steel. So taking a look at some of the specifications for this, you're looking at a 20-round magazine. It does come, you can get 3-round magazines for it also, but all CZ had at the time to send me was a 20-round magazine. Double stack polymer magazine, fiber reinforced polymer frame. Sights fully adjustable. Again, these are really nice adjustable rear apertures, really good sights. And of course, you could put your optics on there whenever you so chose. 16.3 inch Hep by 28 threaded barrel. Again, with this one here, you have a FOS suppressor on here right now. And also, for as far as the presses is concerned, with 9mm, you really want an SBR to make that shine. Height, 8.9 inches. Overall length, 32.7 inches fully extended, 24.4 inches folded. Height, 8.9 inches. Width, 2.44 inches. And a 6.85 pound weight. Ambi safety with an MSRP of $990. So you're looking at a very reasonable cost carbine for what you're getting for PCCs. For as far as the ammunition we used was Federated Ordnance 9mm NATO. This particular ammunition is manufactured here in the States in Idaho in a facility where they manufacture the components themselves. The brass cartridge cases and the 124 grain full metal jackets are made in-house. The only thing that they outsource are the propellants and the primers. This ammunition is made to NATO specs. This company basically is set up where they could do a government contract if a foreign military wanted to procure 9mm NATO M882 ball type ammunition. That's what this is. According to SAMI specifications, this would be Plus P, because that's what 9mm NATO is. M882 ball is Plus P, 124 grain bullet, going about 1185 foot a second. We've actually fired quite a bit of this so far, probably about 4,000 rounds, and we've not had a single issue. Accuracy is stellar, reliability is stellar. Your plus or minus probably about 40 feet a second on velocities. When we've checked them on the lab radar, it's excellent ammunition. It's made here in the U.S., so if you're looking for ammunition, check those guys out. And again, we want to thank our friends over at Challenge Target for providing those targets, the steel targets we shot at. Again, steel targets are a great training target because you get that immediate feedback. Of course, we shoot at bullseyes to get groups, but everything else is done on steel. For as far as training in a self-defense situation, it's much better to use those steel targets because, again, a real target's not going to be wearing a bullseye. So it's a much more realistic type of training. So if you're looking to get some targets, check those guys out. You can get 10% off of those targets by typing in SAS. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share.